It's Subverted Tropes, a podcast about movies, featuring your hosts Daniel Spencer and Kate Harlow. Welcome to another episode of Subverted Tropes. I'm Dan.
I'm Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Dan.
How you doing?
I'm good, darling. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's Tuesday.
It is.
The day that we released our The Jerk episode.
We're trying to get ahead of the game.
We are, and I am going to pull up some information, the current results of the poll.
Oh, that's right.
That we talked about.
That poll.
That poll, currently with, is where I left it open for a week, and it is 71% to 29% people saying that it is funny, but there's more than one vote.
I was going to say, that leads me to believe that you are not alone.
I'm not alone. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Well, nobody can take it away from you now.
No one. Oh, no. They can't take that away from me. Oh, they can't take that away. All right, we're encroaching on having to pay royalties.
Yeah, we don't have any money for that.
No, we don't.
Hi. Okay, so...
We don't want that kind of heat after us.
I see what you did there.
Why don't you tell our listeners what I did there?
I would like to, but my phone just did a thing, and now I'm in the wrong window. Here we go. Guys, we're having technical troubles. It's okay, though. We're working through it. This week, we are discussing a much more recent film, 2013's Lady Buddy cop flick, The Heat.
The Heat.
So Dan made a joke about not getting heat for copyright infringement, and it was funny.
I made it funny.
You made it funny. So I took charge of research on this one. We are splitting up the labor equally this month. Well, maybe not, because Dan usually does all the editing anyway, but the research anyway.
The research labor's been split equally.
But also I'm taking over all of the blogging, so...
That's a very good point. Well, you do a much better job at it than I do.
I am a huge fan of Melissa McCarthy, all of her work, and honestly, my favorite of hers so far is Bridesmaids with Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, Ellie Kemper, Rose Byrne, and Wendy McLendon Covey. That's quite a name.
It is.
But I didn't feel like that one had enough representation of people of color. Yes, Maya Rudolph is of mixed heritage, but as a fan, I struggle with that. Hear me out. Because in her SNL days, the writers played up whichever side of her heritage was most convenient.
Ooh,
so she regularly played both very white characters as well as very dark characters. And I'm not here to get into a discussion of her identity or personal presentation, but with her being the only major character in the Bridesmaids cast of color, I didn't want it to feel like she's the African American. Isn't that enough?
Yeah, I didn't want it to feel like tokenism.
Yeah, I didn't want that at all. Back to The Heat. It was released in 2013, as I said. The film stars Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy, with supporting roles by Demian Bashir, Marlon Wayans, and Michael Rappaport. The film was written by Katie Dippold as a pet project while she was working on Parks and Rec.
All right.
Yeah. She sold the rights to producer Peter Chernin for $600,000. And she specifically wanted to write something in the buddy cop genre, but with women leads, because she's quoted as saying... in Running Scared, when they go down to the Caribbean and there's this montage of them on scooters and there's a different hot girl on the back every time it cuts back to the scooter. And it just felt like, I don't want to be the girl on the back of the scooter. I want to be the awesome cop doing this stuff.
Yeah.
The industry was really wary of producing the film because they felt like it wouldn't pull in its target audiences, for fear that women wouldn't be interested in a cop action movie and that men wouldn't be interested in women being cops.
We getting those ASMR crinkle tinkles there.
Producer Jenno Topping explained, but we really believed at the end of the day it wouldn't be about gender as much as it would be about delivering a courageous action comedy with some heart to it.
All right.
Paul Feig was attached to direct at the same time as Bullock and McCarthy. Feig, I would also like to note, is one of the few male directors currently who regularly relies on female casts and leads. He was the guy who directed Bad Teacher, starring Cameron Diaz, Bridesmaids, Spy, another Melissa McCarthy film, Snatched with Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn, and the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, and the upcoming A Simple Favor coming out later this year featuring Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
That one's a little bit more of a, I think it looks like more of a mystery thriller, not so much a comedy, but the trailers out right now are very intriguing. On a slightly more depressing note, before the film found its proper title, the project was called, and this is the entire thing, quote, The Untitled Female Buddy Cop Comedy.
Oof. That's just, hey, look, John, we need to give this some sort of working title.
Mm-hmm.
You,
Let's make sure everybody knows it's the one with chicks in it. Can we do that?
Yeah. Do you want to call it just the Booby Buddy Cops?
Yes, I do.
You know what? I maybe think HR wouldn't like that. Let's just go with
Girls with Glocks.
Girls with Glocks. No, hold on, wait. Glocks Gone Wild. No, hold on. We got this. We can come up with something good. And then like 2 shots of 5-hour energy later, they're like, man, we still got nothing.
I don't know.
We still got nothing that's gonna, because we don't know how to interact with women in like a non-sexual way. So let's just go with that untitled female buddy cop flick.
I like it because it's descriptive, but also simple.
Wait, what about buddy cop chick flick?
Oh, that's a good one. But people might think that there's a marriage in that.
Oh, no.
Chick flicks always have marriage.
Wait, is this one not? What kind of chick flick is this?
I think they're in law enforcement, but they probably answer phone.
All right, that's fine.
Feig did make the note that he was attracted to this project because there wasn't a major love story.
I like it.
While there is some flirtation between Bullock's character and Marlon Wayans' character, it's not the focus. I quote, "It's just 2 professional women in the workforce who are great at their jobs and who are on this adventure." Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
It's not asking so much, and I don't know why it's such a hard thing to see and appreciate. Though, I think we would do well to look into some more women-directed comedies. I think maybe we should make that a goal for a month in the future.
I think that'd be great.
Women-directed movies, not just comedies.
I knew what you meant.
You knew what I meant. They filmed a lot on location. Principal photography began on location in Boston in July of 2012. And there's really not a lot more that I have before that. So I have a lot to follow up with. So do you just want to go get into those?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go watch a movie.
All right. And we're back.
We're back.
That's a fun movie.
It is.
I feel like we say that after every movie, though.
It's true, but this one I feel like doesn't have as many raging red flags of problematic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a weight off of our shoulders.
A little bit.
I think. A little bit. You know, it is what it is. I want to say I only made note of this fact after you told us about how The Jerk made the film trailer premiere into a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
The first full-length trailer premiered in November of 2012. The actual movie premiered in New York City June 23rd, 2013, with nationwide release a few days later on the 28th.
Nice.
Financially, they did real good. The budget was $43 million, but the worldwide total take was $229.9 million.
That'll do.
It's not chump change. I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
So one thing that we notice a lot throughout the movie is the use of the music. And the soundtrack was released featuring songs from the film that follows the kind of mixtape soundtrack formula that's seen success with like Garden State and Guardians of the Galaxy and others. Director Feig said each song on the album is a desert island song for him, which if you don't know means, I know you know. If you don't know, it means that if you were trapped on a desert island and you could only hear these songs, this certain list of songs ever again, you wouldn't get sick of them. He also mentioned that editing a movie, he has to hear each song hundreds of times, so he wanted to pick stuff that he knew he wasn't going to get sick of.
That's fair. I know that I hate it when I'm sitting there editing a movie And I find myself just like, oh my God, if I hear Rihanna's Umbrella one more time.
Yes, I feel that too, except also when I hear Rihanna's Umbrella, now all I can think of is the lip sync battle with Tom Holland.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, not a good example.
Not a good example.
When you're editing a movie.
So when I'm editing a movie, I think to myself, if I hear Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World one more time, I'm not going to mind because I love that song.
It's a good song.
And I think to myself,
perfect.
What a wonderful world.
I love it.
And I think to myself.
One of our friends did just post a thing. If you on Facebook was one of those like screen cap things that you repost and people respond to it on your status. But if you only had 6 more minutes to live, what song would you put on for those last 6 minutes? And I think maybe it was like a Tumblr screen grab, and somebody had replied with, "I would waste the entire 6 minutes trying to pick a song."
Same, big same.
Probably big same, but because I am the person that I am, I responded to her status with Cotton Eye Joe on repeat.
I mean,
it would make death a sweet release.
They'll know where you went, though. They won't have to ask, where did you go?
They'll know where I came from.
They will. It's pretty obvious that you're from Long Island.
Depends on what verbiage I'm using.
Well, your accent's pretty strong. It is not. That's a lie.
I have one of those accents that adapts to whatever is strongest around me and then ultimately confuses people or offends them by accident.
Ooh, I'm just going to start talking like this then and see how long it takes for you to develop that southern drawl.
I feel like maybe I'm good at ignoring it from you because I'm an improviser and I've performed with you before.
That might be the case, but also maybe if I do this for long enough, it'll just work anyway. So I'm just going to keep giving that a try.
Okay, moving on. Reception for the movie was middle of the road. The Rotten Tomatoes rating is 65%. Metacritic has it as a 60 out of possible 100. And in contrast to that, the audience polling site CinemaScore gives it an average rating of an A-. So I think that to my knowledge, does not line up with those numbers. Because as far as I know, a 65% is failing on a graded like A to F system.
If we're going with the standard A to F system, yes.
Yes. The critics said that it felt predictable, which in some ways I agree, but it's literally a formulaic comedy. It's a buddy cop. It's already a thing. I think if you go in expecting that, you're able to enjoy it a lot more.
I mean, that's fair.
Critics did praise Melissa McCarthy as being reliably funny and credited Sandra Bullock as being a capable foil. It did okay with awards season. No Oscars, but the American Comedy Awards gave McCarthy the Best Comedy Actress Award. The Teen Choice Awards gave Bullock the Choice Summer Movie Star Female category award and gave McCarthy and Bullock together the Choice Movie Chemistry Award. The People's Choice Awards gave Bullock the Favorite Comedic Movie Actress, and the movie won Favorite Comedic Movie. Finally, McCarthy won the Women Film Critics Circle Award for Best Comedic Actress.
Nice.
So I own the DVD, you know this. But after finding out the following information, I feel really sad that I don't own the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray feature comes with an unrated version of the film along with several audio commentaries. One with McCarthy and director Paul Feig. One with all of the actors who play the Mullins family. So Jane Curtin and like all of them. And one with the original Mystery Science Theater 3000 crew.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Mm-mm. I'm dropping the accent. I'm officially doing it. No, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Let's get that Blu-ray.
I would like to do that. Feig announced that there would be a sequel, but in November 2013, following the release, Bullock said she would not come back for a sequel. So that stalled out. Then a proposed spin-off was brought up in place of a sequel, centering on the girlfriends of the Mullins brothers, Beth and Gina.
Oh, God.
Because I know one thing I was thinking during watching the movie.
We
need more of them.
No.
No. I'm sorry. The high maintenance
Screechy.
I have very little tolerance for screechy women.
Yeah, you were talking about that just the other day in the while watching Carmella wrestle Charlotte Flair.
It's true. And here's the thing. I will always back that up unless that woman is saying something that is constructive or contributes. But if it's literally just screechy noises and this is mine and I'm better than you and why aren't you paying attention to me? I have the same feelings about super baby voices. I acknowledge I have a very, very high-pitched voice. Well, very, very, a slightly high-pitched voice. But I don't talk like this all the time.
Yeah, no, that just made me sick. Just now.
Sorry. Please don't leave. Maybe you should have left if you were going to puke.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
So that's all I have, except for what I wrote down for the tropes.
Yeah, let's talk about these tropes.
I feel like we should mention we have started looking into more specific tropes, being that we branded ourselves based on tropes as a whole. We're making more of an effort to acknowledge what people commonly recognize.
We've had a lot of movies where we were like, there's not a lot of tropes here, but that's not accurate. Mm-hmm. So we decided, let's maybe turn to the experts.
Yeah, so big shout out and thank you to the people over at TV Tropes because they do a lot of movies and they have a lot of really good explanations behind why tropes are named certain things. And literally you can't make it through like 2 lines on their website without there being at least 3 hot links to other things explaining further what they're talking about.
Bazinga.
No.
I'll go.
Don't go. So I'll just talk to myself. It's fine. It's fine. The Odd Couple. There's only one by the books character and one out of the books broke. Insufferable Genius and Fish Out of Water and Broken Ace. Those are 3 separate tropes that all point to characteristics you see in Sandra Bullock's character. He's really going, guys. He's left me. This is it. Yep, he's gone now. There is the ridiculous thick accents, which is not one that was credited on the website, but it is. I think it's named something else that I don't feel like pronouncing, but it's the Mullins family has a ridiculous set of accents. The Boston so thick you can't hear or understand them thing, actually to the point where the scene where they're asking Bullock's character if she.
You a knock?
Yes.
All right, I had to come back for this.
Thank you.
Are you a knock?
The subtitles actually spell out the word knock, Knock. Excuse me.
I mean, while we're talking about ridiculously strong accents. Mm-hmm. I mean, while we're talking about ridiculously strong accents. All right, now I just sound like Chuck Tingle. Let's move on. Yeah, no, the ridiculous Boston accents. I don't know why I always love them, but I do. They're always hilarious.
That's fair
to me.
I don't know why they don't bother me in the way that stereotypical Jersey Shore, Staten Island accents bother me. Anyway, as I was saying, the insufferable genius is somebody who knows so much about something, but they're so difficult to communicate with that you don't want anything to do with them. The fish out of water is Ashburn trying to make her way through the Boston community to solve this case.
Yep.
And the broken ace is one that I was very interested in. I had not heard of that before, but it is a character who is really exceptional in a lot of ways, but deep down has a lot of personal issues.
Yeah.
So somebody who might be really, really, really great at their job, but incredibly lonely at home. There is a Chekhov's gun.
There's a shit ton of Chekhov's guns. There's a Chekhov's fridge.
Yes. Well, here's the thing, though. The Chekhov's gun is there with the grenade because that goes off later. But The rocket-propelled grenade never gets used, and it is a Chekhov's gun to the point where it was used in the advertising posters. They set that up before people even got to see the movie, and then they never actually set it off.
Ooh, so it's a subverted Chekhov's gun.
It is. There is also there are a couple of other spin-offs of Chekhov's gun that I did not know about, but now I do. One of them being Chekhov's skill, which is subverted twice. So, firstly, Mullins seemingly successfully playing Russian roulette, but then we later find out she didn't have any bullets in the gun. But also, Ashburn attempting the tracheotomy at the Denny's, but then failing miserably.
Yeah, that is kind of hilarious. Frightening, but hilarious. But frightening, but hilarious.
Guys, if you're at a Denny's, chew up your pancakes before you swallow them.
That's right, just chew that pancake.
A friendly PSA from its subverted tropes.
The more you know, the more you chew. The more you chew.
There we go. There is the quote-unquote high-altitude interrogation, where they dangle Rojas over the balcony, but then they subvert it by dropping him.
I love it.
There is a... Do you have anything to share? Because if you have...
No,
some,
you're
like,
rocking it out.
No, I know, because I wrote it all down, but did you notice anything?
Nothing that we haven't mentioned already, to be honest.
I know, but I have a bunch more. There's the evil albino, but it's also subverted because he wasn't the actual villain, but it's not subverted in the fact that he is just a misogynistic jerk.
I did love that bit when, spoiler alert,
If you've made it this far without knowing it's a spoiler, beep. Beep.
So spoiler alert, Taron Killam's character is the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he shoots the albino. And they're like, wait, you weren't working with him? He's like, no, he was just a misogynist asshole. Yes,
it's
he's
refreshing,
the bad guy, but it's fucking
not the
hilarious.
bad guy that you think. There is a big damn kiss where Melissa McCarthy's husband frequently makes cameos in her movies, and he does make a cameo in this one as the guy at the bar who sees her. They had evidently gone out on a date and spent an evening together. And he's very attracted to her, and she is blowing him off and saying, like, no, I'm not interested, go away. And then she smacks one on him that is very dramatic and a big damn kiss. This also leads into another trope that I had not been familiar with, the name of. It was called a Kavorka man.
Kavorka man?
Yes. So... this time it's gender flipped because it's Mullins, but not a conventionally attractive character. Oftentimes portrayed as a slob, but has an almost unreal power over others, often in a sex god kind of way. So
like the sitcom trope of unattractive man has an attractive wife.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But like bigger than that even.
Right, yeah.
This would be like a bunch of super models draping themselves over Steve Urkel. It's gender flipped here because it's Mullins, which is McCarthy's character. She's not conventionally attractive, but I'm just going to throw it out here. Screw your normality and your concerns about what the media portrays as attractive. I think Melissa McCarthy is super gorgeous, but she certainly has a bunch of completely unshakable followers.
Yeah.
They pop up frequently throughout the movie, and she's always like, God, I spend one night with the guy and he wants to get married. Like,
it's pretty great.
It's pretty great. There are a couple of different montages. There's a binge drinking montage. It's also that one also kind of overlaps with the bonding montage.
Yeah, That binge drinking montage, though, feels very similar to the bits and pieces I remember from my brother-in-law's bachelor party.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Checks out. There's also a crime fighting montage towards the end when they both go rogue and start picking off drug dealers to try and get to the big bad. So there's something called a brick joke, which I didn't know. It's a thing that's set up and then returned to much later for the punchline. So in the beginning, we see a cat that isn't actually Ashburn's. It's actually her neighbor's, but she takes it in and pays attention to it. Then she lies and says it was hers, but it ran away. And then the post-credits scene, Mullins catches the cat and then realizes it's not really Ashburn's. Which is one of my favorite bits. It's so small, but it's so
such
great.
a great payoff because they set it up at the very beginning of the movie and you've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
By the time it gets to the payoff of Mullins finding the cat again just to get it back.
In Virginia and driving it back to Boston because Ashburn has set up there now.
This isn't your cat, is it? This was never your cat.
This was never your cat. I found this cat. This little asshole was in your neighbor's house. Cats, man.
There's a picture currently on our wall of a cat with a couple of wings and a halo on it.
It's jumping off of a rainbow.
And it's saying so we're making efforts to make this more language
friendly.
But it's maybe decrying Nazis in a less than... It's telling you to do things to Nazis.
F off.
F off.
That's actually another trope. It's cluster fudge.
Yeah.
Where you have a character who works really, really, really hard to not curse and not use bad language, which Sandra Bullock's character does to a comedic point where, like...
You want to see these bull feces?
You want to see these bull feces? Like, it's not even productive anymore because you're going so far away from the vernacular that it's barely recognizable anymore.
Yeah.
But then later on in the movie, that character like snaps and breaks and goes on a total rant.
Which is a great trope.
It's a great trope, and it's executed so well in this one because it's perfectly how somebody who hasn't been cursing casually their whole life would do.
Yes.
I'm not even going to try to quote it because it's just, you need to see it.
It's
so fun. I got a couple more. So there's the throw the book at them trope, which is, the law enforcement guys are going to do the fullest extent of the law. Mullins literally throws a phone book.
Literally throws a phone book and...
It's so good.
Hits him in the face.
Right in the face. There is jurisdiction friction, which is anytime people are like, no, this isn't your jurisdiction. No. This is the FBI versus the local police versus the FDA. This is 3 layers deep.
When you say FDA, do you mean DEA?
Yes. So this is FBI versus local jurisdiction versus DEA. So it's 3 deep.
3 deep in the window.
And then the last one I'd like to wrap up with is the jerk with a heart of gold, which I would actually argue both characters are. The website, tvtropes.org, says that it's Mullins.
Yeah.
Which
Mullins is the jerk.
Is really... Well, it is, but also Ashburn is too, because she is there 100% for herself. She is trying to get that promotion. She is trying to not deal with anybody else. She's got a superiority complex a mile long. That's kind of jerky.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But also...
You're right.
Hey!
Yeah, they're definitely both jerks with a heart of gold. But I think they're jerks in very different ways, and that's what makes this movie real fun.
It is. And the heart of gold part really, really comes out because you see Ashburn soften a lot and realize that she needs to be able to relate to people to be good at her job. And you see how much Mullen cares about her town and her family. And it's just, I don't know.
And she softens up a bit too. Like they both soften up, which I think is good.
Yes. So, I love it because the the same friend that I mentioned whose father burst in yelling about the phone books in The Jerk, that friend of mine reminded me very, very much of Melissa McCarthy. And this, in this movie in particular, is the one that it reminds me the most of her because she had very, very abrasive edges, but she had a good heart. And I'm sorry that I'm using the past tense, but we've lost touch over the years. But, you know, wherever she is and whatever she's up to, I know that she is doing it with good intentions and a kind heart, even if it's not being executed as well as it could be.
I think that's fair. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. This was The Heat, research done by the inimitable Kate. Woo! As always, you can find us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts.
If you would like to converse with us, you can find us on Twitter at Subverted Tropes. You can send us an email at subvertedtropecast@gmail.com. And we always endeavor to put up a blog post where we talk about a couple of things that we didn't necessarily pick up on the podcast, but it's also a great place to put a bunch of pictures, etc.
You can find that at subvertedtropecast.wordpress.com.
You can also follow our Instagram at Subverted Tropes.
Yes. And as always, we'd love to throw out a huge thank you to Gracie Bolland for our amazing logo. She's got a fantastically enjoyable YouTube channel and Instagram, both at A Modern Unicorn. So go check those out because she's an incredibly talented person, very entertaining, just a wonderful human.
Just uniquely informed for somebody of her age, and smart as a whip, and funny and compassionate, and we love her to death.
Love her to death.
And we're never going to stop talking about how much we love her.
Yep. She's the best.
So.
But also, you're all the best for listening to us. Thank you so much.
Give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you have any constructive criticism, please reach out and let us know.
I really thought you were about to say, if you have any friends, please tell them.
Why would I diss our listeners like that?
I don't know. I was surprised.
I was coming from a very heartfelt place. If you have any constructive criticism or suggestions or anything, please reach out to us.
Let us know. We'd love to hear it. If you want to know, if you've got an idea of a movie that you want us to do, let us know. One of our friends, Sarah, just suggested that we do Big Trouble in Little China, so we're going to get to do that, which is going to be a lot of fun.
That's going to be great. We also were postulating about possibly doing a keyword search movie to find movies that we were going to do for a month. So if you have a keyword that you want us to plug into Netflix or Hulu or what have you, we will type it in and see what comes up and pick one of those movies and do it.
So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Send us words.
Send us some words to search. We'll
do it.
We'll probably, spoiler, if Kate's the one picking, I have a feeling she's probably going to pick a movie that looks good. If I'm the one picking, I'm going to pick one that I'm intentionally going to pick one that looks real bad.
Why do you think I'm going to pick one that looks good? Today I suggested we watch Shrek and then Despicable Me 3.
But you suggested both of those with a heavy dose of sarcasm. You also have taste, whereas I don't. So anyway,
darling,
this has been a ton of fun. Thank you so much for listening, and
have a good one.
Have a good one. We'll see you soon.